Hi Belma, how are you?
Hi Sheena, I'm very good, thank you.
I'm very happy to have you here. I'm a huge fan of Koibird. I pass it all the time. Your new coffee shop is amazing, so thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me and listening to my story.
Yes, let's go back to the beginning. So you were born in Bosnia, and I can't say it, Herzegovina.
Very
is that
good,
correct?
yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
But then your family fled to Kuwait.
Yes. So when I was 10 years old, almost 10 years old, 92, I fled Sarajevo because the war started, and I was actually with my grandparents when the first kind of bombs and grenades fell on the city. And it was a real trip and process to get me out of a barricaded city and out to my parents, because my parents weren't there. So it's a whole kind of escaping the war story. And then my mom and I left, and she got a job in Kuwait. So we, instead of just kind of being refugees in Europe, we went to Kuwait, and she was a doctor there. And while my father stayed behind in Europe and worked, again, circumstantially, that's how our lives split at that time.
Incredible and terrifying and brave and everything all at once. How was Kuwait?
Kuwait was actually amazing for a child,
Yeah?
I would say, to grow up in. I went to the American school there, and I mean, I was really unfazed by what was going on in my country. I was a teenager. I, went to school, watched Clueless, went to beach parties.
So there's normality.
My mom tried really, really hard to make life as normal as possible for me, and then my dad would come and visit. So, all things considering, it was a really good childhood. There were no drugs. There was not a lot of things that we worry about today. It was quite a safe place to grow up. And so, yeah, I had a great childhood in Kuwait, and obviously the culture and the Arabic and all the things that kind of went along with that.
Do you speak Arabic?
I can, and I understand Arabic, and I can write and read it as well. But
Wow.
I haven't revisited it in a long time, and I keep saying I need to take lessons again.
But that's a practice thing if it's not in your daily life.
It's not in my daily
Amazing.
life. Amazing.
But you've lived all over. So you lived in California, New York.
I have, yeah.
And Hong Kong.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
So they were all a favorite in their own way, I think. And so from Kuwait, I went to high school there, and then I moved to California when my parents moved back to Bosnia. I moved to California when I was 16. I finished high school there on my own, and then I went to college there for a couple of years, and then I transferred to the East Coast to finish university, and then I got my first job in a hedge fund in New York. I worked there for a couple of years, and then I asked them to move me over to London because I was here briefly and I really enjoyed it. So I lived in London for a good 7-ish years, and then I met my now husband, who was moving to Hong Kong.
Okay.
And so I was in kind of a transition period, and I decided to move with him for about a year and a half. So we lived in Hong Kong, which we loved.
Yeah.
It was maybe that was my favorite place.
Really?
Yeah. And then we moved back to London, and I kind of started on a new career path and had a son. And
So you left hedge funding?
I left hedge funding when I moved to Hong Kong. So I took a year and a half of just being a wife. And
Good for you.
And then I came back here, and then I really started Koibird and had my children, and life kind of took a different route from there.
So surely all of that incredible travel has influenced Koibird?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a complete nomad, and I love it. I would not change my experience for anything. And yeah, I've always traveled a lot, even aside from the places I lived at. I love travel. I've always traveled. I would always look at the shops of whichever city I'm in, and at the time there were a lot of great multi-brands. And I would always make it a point wherever I'm traveling to find a cool store, check out the cool stores, or see if I can find any new designers or something unique and special that I want to own, because I was always about finding kind of the little gems for my wardrobe. So travel's very much inspired. And actually I started Koibird out of this kind of desire to share with people my kind of love of shopping pre-holiday. And I spend my summers in Croatia, and then I have a house in Florida, so there's a lot of summer travel in my life as well. And ahead of all the travels, it's always about, I need a new bikini, I need a new cover-up, I need a new bag. So that's really how Koibird started. And the way I was searching for all those things at the time was some online, had to go to Harrods, had to go to Selfridges, had to go, it was just so cumbersome. And I just thought, wouldn't it be great to have one of those stores that I seek out when I travel right here in London, so you can actually completely prepare for your travels when you're here. And of course, you can always go and find a gem elsewhere and pick something up, but really to have this kind of fresh curation of different designers and all under one roof for your holiday. And that's really how Koibird was born.
That's brilliant. I mean, because we're very similar, and I remember we spoke about that briefly before. Actually, when you are going somewhere, that's the time you're going, okay, no, I need this, or it's the excitement of travel, even if it's for business travel or pleasure, whatever it is, it's the excitement of shopping before that. Yeah,
it's kind of like a little bit of a rebirth, because you're going to be your new you, your great you, your tanned you, and that's when you want to wear the new stuff and the new swimwear and dresses, and it just gives you a whole new kind of spring in your step.
So how do you go about sourcing the brands that you stock?
A lot is through travel. We travel to different kind of cities, to all the fashion weeks and markets. We do look at a lot on Instagram. We track things down. We kind of notice what somebody's wearing that I like, for example, and I kind of do the digging and figure out where are those pants from. I really like them. Obviously, brands come to us as well. But it's really just about keeping a keen and sharp eye on what's new, what's fresh, what haven't I seen before, what's looking really interesting and different.
So what's a particular trend right now that you think is something that's catching your eye?
Artisanal pieces, so a lot of crochet, and I know for next season we're really looking into some very unique kind of artists doing kind of crocheting little shapes and little motifs onto clothes. So I think the artisanal movement is really happening right now, where you get like unique small brands doing very artisanal things with clothes.
So I imagine you'll also come across a lot of young designers, and I guess you're providing a great platform for them as well.
Yeah. Well, that was part of also the initial business plan, is kind of being an incubator for younger brands. I just always felt that we have so many stores that carry the big brands. You don't need another store that carries the big brands. So it's really about having this jewel-like destination where you can discover young designers, give them a platform to then maybe go bigger from us.
You find that a lot of them have it as a springboard and then go on to other stockists as well. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen that for all the years we've been operating. So
So outside of Koibird, and very much still in the fashion and art space, I guess, you also work with British Fashion Council's Fashion Trust, Tate Modern, Centre Pompidou.
Yes.
What's your involvement there? And that's a lot to balance.
It is. I love art. I'm an art collector, and I spend my husband and I both spend a lot of time in art as well. And so that's really kind of a side, not a side, an equal passion. Centre Pompidou, for example, I'll just use that as an example. We help fund research into former Yugoslavia artists that may not be kind of on the more global art scale, and the museum, may not have had the resources to really take a deep dive into that region and what were some of the art movements that have come out of the past few decades, because there have been some great, there was a great art movement in the 60s and 70s. So the museum, with our help, the museum is kind of researching into this era. The rest is, all for fun. And British Fashion Council, I've been involved for over 10 years. It's a pleasure to be helping also British designers and doing everything that we do.
So talking about art galleries as an avid art collector, where are your favourites? And are there any particular ones, it doesn't have to be in London, anywhere, that you go to for inspiration perhaps?
I don't know that I have favorites, because so many galleries do so many great things. Obviously in London, I think the Serpentine does really cool and interesting things. Obviously the Tate, I think going into any of the museums for inspiration is always a winner. Paris has some amazing institutions, obviously Centre Pompidou, which is closing soon, so they're going to be collaborating with other museums and showing their collections in other museums, which is really a great new way of kind of collaborating as museums. The Pinot Foundation in Paris is amazing. That for me is always a great place for inspiration. And then galleries, many amazing galleries.
Actually, just walking around, even here in New York, Paris, just a gallery hop in Paris is a wonderful place to do that.
It is.
Just discover all the hidden streets.
And there's some bigger, well-known ones, some smaller ones.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really encourage, and my kids as well, and everybody to just look at art. Just wander. Yeah.
Talking about travel, so as a seasoned traveller, what do you have an in-flight ritual, or what are your packing essentials?
Yeah, so I always travel in something comfy. You know, I always look at those images of celebrities coming out of the plane in, you know, flared jeans and
you're like, jeans on the plane.
So I'm always in sweats or something really comfy, loungewear. I do bring I bring a face mask. I have this Medic 8 Ultimate Recovery Cream, which is really hydrating, that I just slather on. You know, I bring my iPad, a book, a lot of magazines. It's the time that I catch up on all my magazines. I have this little Ayurvedic oil that I like to use and put under my nose, like for sleep. I bring melatonin. But, you know, honestly, over the years, I have reduced the amount of crap I lug with me. Because I'm like, really, am I going to go through this whole ritual? No, I'm going to eat and put my iPad on and put my mask on.
And just close your eyes.
My eyes.
But it's the idea of having 5, 6, 7 hours of just possibly, without children, peace.
Oh, so nice.
That you get really
and without
excited
your
about.
phone. You know, people are always like, is there Wi-Fi on the plane?
Why do you want Wi-Fi? No, it's the worst idea to have Wi-Fi on the plane.
Obviously, a lot of water. I do carry around one of those giant Stanley cups.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I feel like that's trendy.
Very trendy.
Yeah.
Have you had, from all your travels, have you had an experience that's particularly good or bad, an unexpected experience?
Yes, Montana in the US, a dude ranch. I took my kids.
A what ranch?
It's called a dude ranch.
Like a dude?
That's what they're called, these ranches. They're working ranches in Montana, where you go, it's really, really cold overnight and in the morning. And then in the summer, for example, when we went, it's really hot during the day. You work the fields, you do a lot of horse riding, you eat at a certain allotted time in the day. So that kind of thing, I didn't think it would be my thing, but with 2 boys and a husband, and decided to do it this summer, and it was actually so much fun. It was excellent.
Surprisingly fun.
I would go, and we were in tents, and you know, I think I'm a little more high maintenance than that, but I loved it. Boots and all, dirty, hot, and that was great.
I like that. If you could go anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go?
Bhutan. I traveled a lot in Asia, and that is one place I haven't gone to. And I think they're building this giant airport pretty soon, and I have a feeling pretty soon is going to become really, really touristy and Disney-ish. So I would like to go soon. Yeah. And
downtime. Do you get much downtime?
I don't get any downtime, no.
Okay. How do you semi-relax?
Well, I force myself to have downtime. You know, I at night, sometimes when the kids are in bed, I'll, for 20 minutes, lie down with an LED light and on my PEMF blanket. And that's downtime. When we travel, we get downtime. Yeah. So I think that's also why we love traveling so much, because you do have that downtime. Yeah. And what do I do? Yeah, some kind of wellness, whether it's a Ayurvedic treatment, which I love, or massage, or some kind of a wellness treatment. Sauna, blanket, LED,
We didn't actually touch on the new launch in the store, Koi 11.
Yes.
Just tell us a little about that.
So we just launched our wellness cafe in the store, and it's going really great. I think people are loving it so much so much more even for the aesthetics and we keep saying, but it's really also really good for you. It's really nutritional. So I think people are loving the aesthetics so much that they're forgetting that it's actually really nutritious, and it's packed with a lot of great supplements. All the drinks and bites are really healthy, no sugar, packed with a lot of good for you supplements. Each drink or bite is good for something, like whether it's immunity or beauty or so we're really excited about that, and it's going really, really well.
As a woman that doesn't get much downtime or any, and you're constantly on the go, what do you keep in your bag?
Should I show you?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
and your fabulous sparkly duck bag.
I have this very cute little duck bag today. A giant phone with little pictures of my kids and husband, because I thought it was cute. I like these. This is from Koi 11, actually. It's called a Turbo Tonic. It doesn't taste bad or weird at all, and it has guarana, licorice, ginkgo, ashwagandha, and it's just a nice little thing that you put in your water, which I'm always carrying with me, just for a little non-caffeinated energy. I have mints, mushroom mints. I carry my own almond milk, which is weird, I know, but I am a real clean freak.
Okay.
Hence Wellness Cafe.
Does that keep it cold?
It keeps it just kind of whatever temperature it was put in. Yeah. I have a chocolate just for running around. You never know.
Uneaten. I hope that gets eaten soon.
I've got glasses, and I've got a vitamin pill box, and I've got a hair clip, and a Kylie lip gloss.
Nice. Very, very important.
And a Fitbit, which I took off because it didn't go with my outfit for this video, but I do wear it. And yeah, that's it, and a lip liner. But
that's a very healthy bag.
It's all my essentials for when I'm running around during the day.
God, mine would have the chocolate, and that's about it. Belma, that's amazing. Okay, we're going to go straight to quickfire questions.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a coffee order? What's your coffee order?
My coffee order is our Koi 11 coffee, which I love because I don't drink coffee a lot. It's called The Way You Make Me Feel, and it's an adaptogenic coffee with pea milk.
With what milk?
Pea milk.
Pea?
Yes.
Made out of peas?
Made out of peas.
That's an obvious question. All right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cuisine?
Mexican.
Perfect date?
Dinner at home and Netflix.
Nice. Good choice. If you had an extra 5 hours in the day, how would you spend it?
Oh, just a lot of Ayurvedic oil treatments. Yeah, meditation. Just
wellness.
Body treatments, wellness.
Nice. Yeah. If you're down, what cheers you up?
Donuts.
Love that, after all that wellness.
Yeah.
Good for
you said if you're down,
you got to do it. Yeah.
Wellness is not going to cheer me up as quickly as a donut will.
That's true. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Actually, my close friends recently told me, "Oh God, you're so nice. You just never want to gossip."
That's a really lovely thing to also not gossip.
But yeah, I guess I don't gossip.
I like that. What's your go-to drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Ceremonial grade matcha, no milk, just Japanese style.
Okay, strong stuff. What song are you listening to on repeat?
Oh my gosh, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
It's a good song.
I think since the Super Bowl, that's really in my gym repeat.
Nice.
Motivates me.
Do you have a favorite piece of clothing or jewelry or beauty product that is your absolute go-to?
I just got this beauty product from a Korean company called Medicube. It's a Booster Pro. It's one of these LED and microcurrent devices. And I didn't buy a lot of those. I don't have a lot of those, but this one I really like. I'm using it every day.
Easy to use.
Really easy to use. I don't even have to read the instructions. You just turn it on and you just do this. And it's quick, so.
That's convenient. Is there a trend that you're totally over?
Beige. Neutrals and beige.
Okay. Is that a trend?
It's been a trend forever. I think some companies have built a whole brand on
true.
beige.
That's very true.
Yes.
If you could be born in any decade, which one would it be?
80s, which I was born in.
There we go. A little early on in life, but if you were to write a book about your life or career to date, what would it be called?
I thought of one. It's a little cheesy, but
cheesy's great. We love cheesy.
Cheesy's great. Built by hustle, powered by fun.
Brilliant. I love that. Thank you, Belma. That's fantastic. I can't wait to read that book. I'm sure a lot of women will relate.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for today.